This is the House of Rap once again. It's your brother King Mizo. And like I said, we got artists, we got people that make the artist known. We got people that do things behind the scenes. And on this show, we're just not interviewing the rappers and the people on the front line. We're interviewing the people on the foundation that are helping hold the rappers up and the artists up. And today we got Freddie Fame in the house representing Fifth Element, man.
What up? What up?
Yes, how you doing, brother, man?
Yo, thanks for having me, brother. It's we go back, man. We go back.
Oh, I had to.
You did the first Fifth show ever.
Oh, for real?
The
That's
first
crazy.
one. You with the Poor Man Militia. Back in 2004.
We did the last Poor Man Militia concert to ever happen, which was our best performance. The same day Alpha got hit by a train, rest in peace. He left. He was at our show. It was at the Silver Dollar. He left during like a little halftime thing. We were blazing outside. He was twist, and he's like, yo, I'm going to go run a little piece by the bridge, by the train tracks. He went with his can. He ran a little piece. He never came back. And that was like a sad night. And there's so many things that happened that night. And that was our last show as a group, as Poor Man Militia, at the Silver Dollar. An undercover cop was there. He came in with his weapon, and he was just like, it was basically a very positive show. There were people in there doing positive things. It was one of those moments when the hip hop police were involved. And I know they really harassed you at your venues a lot, so I want to talk about all those things, man, from beginning to end. But yo, let's start with first and foremost, for the people in this space that don't know, before even the Fifth, like, who's Freddie Fame, man? Like, where were you born?
I was born in Toronto.
You're born in Toronto, okay. And what's your cultural background?
I'm from Ecuador, so South American.
Okay. And that's the beautiful thing about Toronto. It's like we can represent our culture and still be from Toronto. We can represent both at the exact same time, So yeah, and you started the Fifth Element. What year did you start that?
That was 2004. 2004. Okay. So this makes my 20 years doing this stuff.
Yo, it's crazy. And you have a lot of history. You've worked with legendary people. We'll get into it. Like Tory Lanez for one of them, for the people that it's easier for people to be like, who do you mean by legendary? A lot of legendary people. But if you're not a hip hop head, if you're not a head, that's the first name that the masses may understand. You know what I mean? To the level, the magnitude of your work. Mm-hmm. And yo, I'm not just saying all this because you're on this, brother. It's like when I'm interviewing people, I'm interviewing them with just pure honesty, and you put in a lot of work. So before the Fifth, 2004, what was your involvement with hip hop culture? Like, what was your introduction to hip hop culture, and was your first involvement as a promoter?
Actually, I started doing events, just like club events. I used to walk around the city and find little spots that would let me bring people and DJs and stuff like that. You remember Sonny?
Of course. Yeah.
One of these events that I did back in the day, Sonny had a girlfriend at the time. And he approached me at the event. He's like, yo, do you think my girl can perform? I was like, perform? I'm like, that sounds interesting. Yeah, do it. And we happened to have a mic, and this girl performed. And I was watching this, and I was like,
Just saw another angle.
And then I moved into... I was a scout for music video models. It's just something I made up. I was like, let me just go get some girls for music videos. I was working at the strip club with my boy Casper. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got all these girls around me, let's see if we can get them into music videos. But yeah, that was like my first dealings with hip hop. It was actually like I was a scout for models.
Okay.
And I walked around the city. I walked around the city, and I didn't pick them up myself because I'm not really outgoing like that. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I was a little shy. So I grabbed a
Okay.
girl, one of my homegirls, and I said, here, let's go for a walk. I'll burn you some spliffs. She's like, sure. What are we going to do? I'm like, we're going to go pick up girls for music videos. She's like, okay, I'm in. And we just went around and I pointed at the girls and the girl would go get them. And because it was a girl approaching girls, it was good. It was comfortable, you know? So this was before smartphones and stuff. So we just kept getting numbers.
Yeah.
And after a while, I had like 100 names.
Yep.
And yeah, we casted some girls for some music videos. One of them was I think it was Shaggy's music video.
Oh yeah, that's big.
Long time ago, man. This was like
Shaggy. Like for people that don't know, it's like it wasn't me.
It
That
wasn't
guy,
me.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yo.
but the first video we casted was for the first artist I ever knew in the city, and his name was Rockstone. But back then he went by Pin Rock.
Okay. Not familiar with that one. That's cool, man. And it's like, yo, so you took an approach that people would more take now. Pardon me. The asking a female to come out and speak to these females on the road. It's less likely for them to be like, yo, this guy's just creeping on me right now. You know what I mean? It's more like, oh, it's okay. This is like a thing. Like a female's approaching me. You're very business savvy. It's intelligent. You know, that's an intelligent approach. And for you to even see, a lot of people don't recognize opportunities. So for you to do these, for you to create an opportunity out of thin air and say, yo, these guys got the venue, I don't. I'm just going to use the venue they have that costs me no money. Then I'm going to contact some people I know and just bring them in, go on road, bring people in. Yeah. It doesn't cost money. It costs time mostly, right? Sometimes money here and there. You got to pay a few people, but usually time, which is money. But, and then, yo, you created that out of nowhere. And then Sonny, big shout out Sonny, man. That was one of the first festivals I ever performed at Christie Pitts.
Yo, I was there. I was there.
You know, you might have put us onto that actually.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
I remember I was there.
That was a nice one, man. And then, so yo, we do that. We'll go back to the strip club thing too, because I know you did strip hop. So it seems like already in the beginning of this convo, you've connected everything that not everything, but so far everything I've heard about that you've done in your life together. And you just said, yo, this is how this connects to this and this connects to this. Yeah. And everything does connect. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely.
From there, you started doing that. And then your first event was, so when you were bringing girls for music videos, how long after that did you decide that, yo, I might as well start making music videos also and provide?
Oh man, music videos came a lot after, you know, after the whole modeling agency. Yeah, I was doing after hours for many years, and it was just too negative for me, you know. Even though it was like fun, and you know, I got to meet a lot of cool people, it was just like I was submerged in darkness. And me, I always say, like, I have one foot in the dark and one foot in the light, but I had more foot in the light. You know what I'm saying? And after like a long time of doing that, you know, I just changed my life, and I decided to go full force with the music.
Yo, what's going on, man? It's your brother Mizo. First of all, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate when you watch this live, if you take your time to watch it later on, if you're just listening while you're doing something. But I appreciate you tapping in and getting this far. You know, I really do. The House of Rap, this movement we have, this podcast we have, is close to my heart, and we're going to keep pushing forward with it. All right, so we need your help, man. Go like and subscribe right now. Hit the notification bell. House of Rap, XYZ, everywhere. Let's get back to it.
And believe it or not, my first beginnings with live shows were rock shows.
Okay.
So bands, yeah. I had a rehearsal space for a very long, well, maybe like 2 years, 3 years. And I had all these bands coming in to rehearse. And so I would use them for the shows. But the thing
Okay.
is, with rock bands, you didn't need a fancy flyer. You didn't need no fancy this and that. You just have the equipment on stage. They plug in, or they bring in their own amps,
Yeah.
and they would just bring everybody. But keep in mind, like every band had about 4 to 5 people, so that was 4 to 5 people promoting. So if each of them brought one person, but these
But were they
people were,
better at?
sorry.
I was gonna say, were they better at promoting than hip hop people? Because it's no shade to rap. I'm a MC. I'm an artist. You know what I mean? I'm more than that. But I wore that hat many times, and I know
I
that
Yeah,
hip hop people have a problem promoting. We have this little ego compared to. I performed at punk shows.
yeah,
I've toured with punk bands. I've toured with hip hop artists, and to me, the punk shows always had more people, and
yeah,
it seemed like it was like just more about the art rather than
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. No, I remember these rock shows were always packed, and like I said, I didn't even make a flyer. There was no, Facebook and Instagram back then. It was just people making their calls, and the
Mm-hmm.
rock
Mm-hmm.
guys, they love to tell their people to come out, and like, yeah, hip hop's a little different, it's like, to them it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to call my friends and tell them to come out to my show. That's your
Yeah.
job, Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the issue. That's the issue. And then see, because of that, it's powerful that you started the fifth, where you brought a lot of hip hop people out, right?
Well,
And
I'll be fully honest, right? I stayed away from hip hop because I'll be straight up, like, I didn't like the vibe, you know? I was chilling out with
mhm,
these white boys, and these rock guys, they had a good vibe. There was never any issues at the clubs, they just wanted to rock. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
They
mhm.
just wanted to rock, and no one bugs white people, you know?
Yeah,
You
true,
have a whole bunch
true,
of white rowdy people in a club, there's no cops. There's no
true.
nothing, but um I'll be honest, like, I got bored. I got bored because um even though everything was working out, it wasn't my scene. Like,
Mhm.
everyone, all these bands are like, so who the heck are you, man? Where did you come from? I'm like, dude, I'm just here.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just do this. Don't worry about who I am. Let's just go. And
Okay.
this one specific time, I had the Yama Combo booked for a show, and it was
Mm.
September 10th, 2004. And it was scheduled for a rock show, and all the bands flopped at the same time.
Damn.
So I don't like canceling anything, especially when I have my mind set on doing something. So that's
Yeah.
when I called KDB. It was the first artist I called, He was my homeboy. And I
Mhm.
said, KDB, let's do something. But wait, hold on. I'm skipping a very important part. Mike Stone had a lot to do with this, okay?
Yeah.
I had reconnected with Mike Stone. I used to go to high school with Mike Stone. And, when I reconnected with him on the street, he's like, yo, what's up? What have you been doing? I'm like, yo, come, look at the rehearsal space. He's like, okay. I showed him everything. I'm like, bands, white boys, everything's good. He's like, oh, have you ever thought of doing hip hop? I'm like, no, I'm not doing hip hop. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I said, you know what? Maybe one day. I said, I will never say never, but maybe one day. So every month after I seen him, for a good 6 months, he'd call me and be like, yo, we doing hip hop yet? I'm like, nah, not yet, not yet. And I every month, like clockwork, he'd call me up and be like, yo, you down to do a hip hop show yet? I'm like, nah. But like, I think after the 6 month mark, I had that cancellation. And like I said, I called KDB. He's like, yeah. And then he connected me with another artist. And then I called them up. They were down. And then they connected me with another artist. It was just straight cold calls. And then by the time Mike Stone called me again, I'm like, dude, I was waiting for your call. We're doing hip hop. So he's like, okay, all right, let's do it. And
Okay.
I had everything set, the venue, the artists. I just didn't have a concept for it. So at the time, I just really had to pick my own brain and just think, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I came up with the Fifth Element.
Okay. Yeah. And the Fifth Element. What is the Fifth Element?
So
Like,
the
why'd you
Fifth
pick that name?
Element, back in those days, what I thought was, okay, you got the four elements of hip hop, the what was it? The breakdancing. You got the DJing, you got the MC and the spray paint. I felt like, okay, I'll be the fifth element, which brings everything together, the love. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that's what it stood for to me. And yeah, so the first show was at the Elma Combo, and we had all the elements in the building. I had a graffiti artist who had his stuff on display. I had the artists performing. I had the DJs doing some juggling, some scratching and whatnot. And I had the break dancers doing their thing too. It was a really good vibe. It was packed. It was packed. You were one of the artists performing, actually.
Crazy. And I remember that show. I remember that show because to us it was like, that's another thing. That show was the beginning of an important era in hip hop for Toronto. An important era. Because you got Elma Combo. Elma Combo was thinking there's rock shows happening. Now I'm kind of seeing how hip hop got snuck into the venue.
Yeah.
That was an era in life in Toronto where you could go to a club where they played hip hop music, but you couldn't wear hip hop clothing.
Yeah.
You can go you can try to get a hip hop concert. Good luck unless you're a famous hip hop artist.
Yeah.
There weren't no underground shows. Venues would not have hip hop. They'd hear you want to run a hip hop show. They'd say no instantly. So you kind of
you know what they would say. Oh yeah, we'll give you a Tuesday. It pretty much meant fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're not gonna make no money, so just whatever. Do you want to take this day that's doing nothing? Go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because Elma Combo became the home of hip hop
for a minute. Yeah.
At that time, and I'll give you your flowers for that. Because of that reason, Elma Combo started seeing the value in the hip hop community.
Yeah.
And because of that, everyone else started realizing that, I just performed at a Freddie Fame show at Elma Combo, and it's the only venue that's letting us perform. I want to put my own show on. Let me message Elma Combo. So Elma Combo became the place where mad different promoters would go, indie people would go from the hip hop world. And so salute to you. You started something amazing. So I want to talk about that, man. Like, I remember not being allowed to perform anywhere. I remember being mad as a kid, like going to a hip hop show. No one's rapping even, but all they're playing is hip hop that we like. And I wasn't allowed in because of my hat. And I'm like, I used to get angry. How are you going to play our music but not let us in? And but that was a cool thing because after Elma Combo, a lot of great shows happened there. A lot of great shows. And then, hip hop often leads to street politics, weird jealousy and violence. And there was some violence in Elma Combo, which kind of like shut the whole thing down, if I'm correct.
I don't think that had anything to do with my events, but yeah, I do remember some drama happening at the Elmo. He kind of just, after I did my hip hop thing, he saw how many people were like, they're like, he kind of like was like more open to it back then. I think his name was Abyss.
It was actually
Arab, yeah.
It was.
And I remember that yellow Hummer he had in the front of the place, and he was really cool. He allowed us to do that. But yeah, Elma Combo was definitely like a spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a hip hop spot that everyone went to. You also had shows at We were talking about one of the last shows we performed at as a group. Earlier, you were talking about KDB. For anyone watching, a quick reference is KDB is a member. He's going to be on one of these shows, and he's a member of Poor Man Militia, one of the founding members of the group I was part of, and he's also part of Babylon War Child, another group I'm part of currently.
But even
Dope
before all
artists.
that, before all that,
Yes.
Crooks of the Round Table.
Yes.
And that's what I
100%.
remember from KDB, because they're on Much Music. They were doing it. Like I remember feeling so happy that hip hop was growing enough that we had people we knew now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On a Much Music. It was back then. It was like hard to do.
On Much Music, yeah. Because back then, definitely shut out Crooks at a Round Table. Salute to all of them, man.
Yeah, I know all of them
Much
from
Music.
time.
Yo, Much Music, Video Fact. So I remember I was maybe 13, 14 years old, and I'm just realizing this thing, Video Fact is on. Everyone's like, yo, get a Video Fact grant. And that would give you money from some Much Music related thing where you would get money and you would be able to get money for a video. It would have to go to making a music video. Yeah. And that's when we started seeing Rap City pop off on Much Music. We had our own half-an-hour Rap City show. And every single day, I started seeing new artists from Toronto. And as a young 13, 14-year-old, watching other artists on a platform like that gave me hope to be like, I can do that too.
Yeah.
Grant or no grant, I can do that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what you did for artists too at that same time. You were there during when we were incubating the future of Toronto hip hop. You know, Drake is there now. Shout out Drake. Shout out Tory Lanez. Shout out all these different people making big moves. Shout out the Moolah First and all of them. You know, I don't pick none of these sides. You know, like all these young artists doing amazing things. They're standing on a powerful platform that they built on their own with their own hard work. But the foundation underneath it comes from our generation making hip hop okay. Like it's accepted now. We're pushing it in places where it wasn't allowed to be pushed. And you gave people this platform. So you had these, I might be going off to derailing like the order of it all. But you also connected stripping and hip hop. You had this thing called strip hop.
Okay.
And it was the first of its kind in the city, if you want to break it down.
So before hip hop, I was working, like I said, I was working at the strip clubs, Fillmore's right downtown. My boy Casper, he was managing the spot at the time. And so I just go hang out with him, you know. Plus, it was cool. You're chilling at a strip club. And after a whole year of me doing these shows, I felt we needed something different, you know, because I was doing them every month. I did Sneaky D's, I did Macombo, I did Silver Dollar, I did so many different venues. And I just felt like, hey, we need something spectacular, you know? Yeah. And so the second year was all about strip hop. So I remember this, man. Like I had a lawyer buddy, brown guy. And I remember I called him up and I said, bro, I'm going to be at your place in 10 minutes to pick you up, get dressed in a suit, make sure you got them sunglasses because we're going Friday. He's like, what are we doing? I said, don't worry. That was my claim. Don't worry. And so, you know, I picked him up and he's like, so what are we doing? Why'd you get me to get dressed up? I'm like, bro, we're going to go get a strip club. So we went around to every strip club. And they all said no, all of them. And I'm like, okay, you know what? There's only one that I know for sure will let us do it. And I didn't even know why I thought for sure. But I'm like, no, I have a strong feeling. So we ended up at House Lancaster on Bloor.
Attached to a church. Like there's the strip club, there's the wall on the left side of the not that one?
Paradise. That's Paradise.
Okay.
That's down the street.
Okay.
So I sent them in And I specifically told him, if they ask you what kind of genre, just say R&B.
That's smart. Real
R&B,
intelligent.
you know?
Yeah.
And so he goes in and he's like, nah, this ain't gonna work, man. Everyone already rejected us. I'm like, just go do it and have full confidence, and they're gonna say yes. Man comes out 10 minutes later. Keep in mind, he looked like a real serious dude with his suit and his sunglasses, you know. I gave him a little script, you know, like the whole script was that he was the entertainment lawyer, which he was, and that he represented some clients that wanted to do an event at their club, and it was going to be a live show and this and that and that. And so when he went in, he that's exactly what he said. He came out so excited. He's like, yo, we got it. How did you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, don't worry, man. We're good. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And so, yeah, I had meetings with them, and that dude was tough, man. The owner of that club, he was tough. Like he was a no bullshit dude. And you know, even when he asked me, I remember the owner and the manager were there just staring at me, because I had to go in eventually and describe what's up.
Right.
Because they wanted to meet the client, you know, the client. Who's the client? Yeah. Who is this guy? So I went in there and I told him what we're gonna do. And he's like, look, as long as we make money, we're good. I said, okay. So that day, the day came, and I was late for that show. I had the stage manager, I had the DJ up there, I had everything set, but I was late for that show. I get to the club, and big bouncer guy, he's like, yo, it's full. I'm like, it's full? Yes. All right. He's like, why are you so happy? I just said you can't come in. I'm like, nah, man, you don't understand. It's my event. You're saying it's full. I love it. He's like, oh, you're Freddie? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, they're waiting for you, man. I'm like, okay, great. So I walk in and it's packed. Like,
yo, beautiful, man.
Like Pizac. I made it free just to not discourage anything, and it was Pizac. And so
smart, man.
So the owner right away wanted to talk to me. He's like, yo, you didn't tell me it was gonna be like this. I said, I told you it was gonna be packed. Right? Yeah, I said, I told you it was gonna be packed. What do you mean? He's like, no, you didn't tell me. You tricked me. I'm like, you're going to make a whole bunch of money today. Don't worry. Those are strong words. I didn't trick you. I told you everything we're going to do. He's like, okay, you know what? We're just going to do it, but you tricked me. And after that show, I was so excited and stressed out at the same time, because I knew they weren't going to allow it again. So I was like trying to get meetings with them, and he wasn't answering my calls. Finally, he's like, okay, come in, let's talk. And the dude was just like, look, you tricked me, all right? But I have a proposition for you. I said, okay, what is it? He's like, I'm going to give you my bigger club on over by Etobicoke. Because they had two clubs. He goes, I'm going to give you my other club, and you do what you did, but bring in the white people, bring in the bands. And I was just like, nah, man. Nah, like, this is working. This worked. Like, let me just do what I do. He's like, you think about it, and you give me an answer, but this is my proposition. No more of this hip-hop. Too many baseball caps. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Too many baseball caps. And I know what he meant. Of
course. Yeah.
And
that's why they didn't want us in venues anyways at that time. That's crazy. Okay. This is an amazing story, by the way. But yeah.
And so I was so disappointed, and I was like on cloud nine, because I did something that worked crazy. It was like the newest thing in the city. Everyone was
yeah,
like inquiring. Everyone's like, yo, you got to
yeah,
do another one. And I'm like,
yeah.
they don't want me to do it. So I call up my boy Casper. I'm like, bro, I need a club, man. He's like, oh, yeah, right away. Bang, Charlie T's. He gave me one up by Finch. I'm like,
Yo, that's
Finch?
crazy.
I'm like, Finch, I never went up to Finch. Like, I had no reason to ever go up to Finch. I was downtown, like,
Whole
to the
different
core.
crowd, bro. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a crazy crowd. Yeah.
And he's like, dude, go talk to them. I already gave him the word. They said, yeah, go get it. I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. I walked in. It looked more like a sports bar
Yeah,
with
yeah, I've been there.
strippers.
Yeah,
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 with strippers. Like you'd see peanut shells on the floor, like a sports team, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, the stage is amazing. The girls look good. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do it. But I'm gonna have to like really, really do something to not let people know that it's up at Finch. So I made it a secret location.
Oh,
I made it a secret
okay. Hold
location.
on.
So
Yo, quick time out. Don't forget where you are. Yo, this is alpha, bro. Like, yo, anybody watching, actually, this is alpha. Like, how do you make something out of nothing? You know what I mean? And how do you open doors that don't want to open for you without kicking it and ruining it? So once you're in there, they're mad at you. You don't
yeah.
want them to be mad at you. You know what I mean? And this is like, yo, bro, I love it. Okay, go, keep going. I have to stop cutting you off. I'm just hyped.
No. So I made it a secret location, but I was like, we're really gonna have to do something spectacular for this just to make the brand grow. I called it strip hop just because it made sense,
Yep.
And so I invited a lot of industry people. Click.
Shut up.
There was a bunch of different people that I invited, and I didn't tell anybody where it was. But what I did tell them was, I got a limo for you guys. I got everything set up, for the industry types. And I got them up there with a limo. And even the performers didn't know where it was. Like nobody until the day before. Like the day before is when I told everyone. And no one was used to that in Toronto. Secret location? What? That's
But that made it
unheard
a
of.
big deal. That was a buzz. That created a buzz. The
Yeah,
secret
it did.
location.
It did.
You
It
know?
did. Everyone was talking about it. No one knew where it was, but they just knew they had to be there.
Yeah.
So we end up at the spot and I walk in, bro. It was packed. It was packed, yo. And I just remember, I think Daytona was performing. Tona.
Oh, Tona's so dope. Yeah, man.
And I just remember looking at the stage and watching Tona like do his thing.
Fire.
And the strippers dancing and everyone just congratulating me on like, how the heck did you do this? I was like, I just did it. I just wanted it so bad that it just happened,
Mm-hmm. Yo, to all the musicians, producers, MCs, singers watching this, you want to get your music on the House of Rap? There's several ways to do it, but one of the main ways is to get your music on our audius.co playlist. How do you get on our Audius playlist? Easy. It takes 2 seconds. Go create an Audius account right now. The link is right here, audius.co. Go to audius.co, make an account within 2 minutes, and leave your handle in the comments of this YouTube video. And we will follow you. We will hit the notification bell. If we like what we hear, we'll put it on our playlist, and you'll hear your music, your beats, your words, your vibes on the House of Rap. So come join the culture. This is the revolution, man. Web3 meets hip hop. Let's go.
So that was strip hop, and then I ended up doing every strip club in the city. So we ended up doing Fillmore's, we did Caddies, we did Kennedy's, we did Baby Dolls on Ossington. Like that was like
You showed them. You have to show them. Yeah.
The only one that didn't like us was that one on Queen Street. You remember that one? Jilly's.
Oh, Jilly's. Yeah,
Jilly's?
I never been in there. But yeah.
Bro, as soon as we walked in, the guy's like, "Get out." I was like,
Yo, no, my bad. I don't want to cut off the stories. Like, yo, over there, that is even though those years, that was what 2004, 2005 then, right?
It was actually 2005.
Yo, that was like right after what Toronto was the dub, the year of the gun. It was a weird time in our city.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't attend your strip hop shows, but I knew about them. I didn't attend them because back then I didn't have my of balance of self almost. Back then I was young, figuring out who I am, what I stand for, and my music was very political. It didn't make sense. You know what I mean? So I was just like, nah, that's not my road. I wasn't there, but I remember like KDB was there, everyone was there. Like it was a dope event. But that time, even thinking about it, like at that moment, I was like starting to get my foot into the youth work world.
Mm-hmm.
The demographics from a strip hop show to the demographics of an Elmo combo version of the fifth.
Yeah.
Is it a big difference?
Honestly, bro, more girls wanted to go to these shows than I could have ever imagined.
To the strip hop?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Pure girls wanted to go to this because it gave them the reason to be in a place where they usually didn't go or belong, right? So this gave them a reason to be there. You know?
Bro, that's crazy.
And honestly, the strip hop, it lasted for like a while, like a good 2 years. And I remember like these shows, they were packed. Like these things were packed, man. They were packed.
Yo,
it was some crazy good times. I remember feeling very, very good about accomplishing something that no one did in the city. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing. Yeah.
And till this day, people were still asking me about strip hop. You know, it made waves. It definitely made waves in the city. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it made waves, and it's part of like the history of Toronto hip hop. No matter what, whether people say it out loud or not, it's a part of the history. When you speak about the history of Toronto hip hop, you have to speak of that. You have to speak of the fifth.
A lot of people hated me because of it too. You know, they didn't like that direction. I'm like, look, you go stick to your Elma Combo shows. I'm taking other people who are into this. So don't hate on me, you know? Don't hate the player, hate the fame type of shit, you know?
No, there's 2 rooms. Everyone, you don't have to go into any room you don't want to go into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the thing. So you, during that time, it's like putting on for a lot of different people. You know, when I speak about being like the roots of Toronto hip hop, at least from that era, from the era of us, like it's, you know, right before Instagram came out, right before we had all these extra tools. Like
back then it was, you know? It was MySpace.
It was MySpace and being on the streets.
Yeah.
Showing up to the venues, being on Queen Street, being on Yonge Street, talking to people. That's what it was. It was real hand to hand. But so you've done a lot of things where, and you're speaking of like, you know, there's always some type of hatred. People feel some type of way. There's more love than there is hatred.
From the beginning, I was hated. I was hated from the beginning because, you know, the people that I was putting on, nobody knew. You know, they wanted to see all the people that they're used to seeing, and I was bringing in everyone that was unknown, like virtually unknown. And that's another reason why I got hated. It's like, oh, why don't you work with this guy? Why don't you? I'm like, because I already have like 10 people that are ready to go.
Yeah. Well, that can make the city love you more. Yeah.
I asked, you know, the 10 groups once, as opposed to trying to get a popular guy who wanted me to ask him 10 times before he even replies to me. You know?
Man,
so in a way, I opened up the floodgates, you know, because back then there was so many artists, but no one had an outlet. No one knew each other either. You know, so
when I was blacklisted,
when
I was blacklisted for a minute when I was younger. You know what I mean? And because I didn't know how to like when to say what and when not to say what. You know, I wasn't mindful of that. You know what I mean? But whatever, that was life, learning lessons. But I got on your shows all the time. None of that mattered. I got on your shows no matter what. And that's what I like to say. The fifth was actually an incubator and still is. It's an incubator for fresh artists. It's an incubator for new artists. I
Definitely.
know the hour is gonna go run out, but if you have a second, I'm down to like stretch it slightly. If you, I don't know if you have
I'm
time
ready.
though.
I'm here, brother.
Yeah,
I'm here.
because yo, I want to get at least the other parts out because this is like an important story, and documenting this history is important, and it's also a lesson for people watching, even if you're not part of Toronto history or not interested in Toronto hip hop history. These are tools that you can take from other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these are what other people did to make something out of nothing, technically,
Yeah.
and that's what we do. It's a little bit of manifesting, and it's a whole lot of action.
Yeah.
So and that's what happens. But yo, you create press kits for people. You create full packages, press kits, which include the photography. You create music videos. You book shows. Currently, you're still booking tours where you do these tours across a few countries, a few cities in Canada.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, let's break down the tours and then let's speak about your whole incubator program in a way. I know it's not called that, but that's what I see it as.
No, it's cool. We just talked about the first 2 years out of 20.
Right.
The photography and all the services came after I'd say fourth year. Fourth year of me doing it, people would call me and say, hey, they do a show with me or whatever, and they'd say, hey, do you know any photographers? And I'd say, oh yeah, go call homeboy. And they come back to me like, oh, he didn't reply. I'm like, oh, okay, here's another person, go talk to them. And they call me back again and be like, nah, they're not really responding. I'm like, okay, you know what,
Communication.
I'm gonna freaking deal with the photography. I remember I had a girl at the time, and I said, you're the new photographer. And she's like, but I've never taken a picture in my life. I'm like, yeah, just don't say that. Believe you're a photographer. I'll get you the camera. You learn how to use it, and no one will know a damn thing.
Facts.
So bang, she became the photographer. And soon after, we got into graphics. Soon after, we got into music videos. And soon after that, I created the trading cards.
Yes. I was gonna
Now
get. Let's keep it going then. Let's go.
The trading cards were pretty much press kits, which was lacking in the city. No one even knew what a press kit was. And I said, okay, instead of calling it a press kit, let's call it a trading card because more people know that lingo. So, and it was cool. It was a fun idea, and everyone loved that one.
Yep. You got
And
us
I
on the trading
expanded.
cards, man.
Yeah, I expanded to other cities, and this is what got me into the other cities. So I went to Montreal to take pictures of their scene. I had a Montreal edition. And that's kind of what started the tours, because now I had connects in different cities. The only
Right.
difference is like, okay, we were just starting off. They were like light years behind. You know what I'm saying? Way behind. So when I came in now, I started doing certain things, and yeah. And the breakthrough moment was, I had an artist who to this day made the most money at my shows. He made $1,000. Sorry, I think it was more like $1,200 at my show.
Okay.
And he was a newcomer. No one knew him, but he grinded his ass off to make sure he had all his people there. He pulled in 100 people. To this day, I don't know one artist that can pull 100 people to a show. Unknown.
Yo, that's hard work. That's
hard work. But
like,
the guy
first of all,
was
it's
so
hard to get your
determined.
friends out. That's amazing. Yeah.
The guy was so determined, and I remember giving him $1,200, and I'm like, dude, I've never seen this in my life. Like, congratulations, bro! You just broke the record. And he's like, yo, man, I don't even want the money. I'm like, what? What do you mean you don't want the money? He's like, dude, I'd rather do a show in a different city and bring my people. Can we get a tour bus? And right away, I was like, yeah. I didn't have a tour bus, but I was like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He gave me back the 1,200. He's like, make it happen. I said right away. So bang, I started calling some clubs in
Mm.
I believe it was Ottawa, and I got one right away. Got a tour bus for a nice price back in the day, and that was done. It was done so fast that I was like, yo, that was too easy. I'm like, yo, let's do 2 cities. He's like, yeah, let's do that. So we did Ottawa and Montreal.
Amazing.
And so, yeah,
Amazing.
that's how the tour started. That's how the tour started.
And that's what you're doing now. And would you say that was almost your first like non-spoken like management, artist incubation in a way?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. I'd
Yeah.
say so. I think
Yo,
the
so when you
management I think the management started with the cards.
mm.
I think it started with the cards
Because you had to
because
take the photos and
yeah, you got to take the photos, you got to do the bios, you got to do the
right,
layout. So it was my first taste of actually managing, you know?
right.
Um
That
but yeah.
it went a long way, man. We went on tour one time, and you gave us like a bunch of cards just to like take on road. We did a cross Canada tour, and people loved it. That was the best thing to stop on the street, just stop someone and talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was the best thing to use, and it was like we're on road. It's so
Yeah.
fun, like I used to be. I was young. I love excuses to go like just talk to people on road,
Yeah.
traveling, tell them about our next show coming up. We'd make them open the packs on the spot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Sometimes they'd find us, find KDB, and it was like
Yeah.
a fun little game. It was
Well,
gamified. It
funny
was
funny thing
gamifying
with
what we
that.
do.
Funny thing
Yeah.
with that, I had the most popular people in Toronto at the time, probably
Mm-hmm.
still. I'd have like
Mm-hmm.
a started from scratch. I had a Bishop Brigante, a Chalk
Of
Claire,
course.
a Maestro even. And regular
Yeah.
people on the street would be like, who's this guy?
See, that's wild. And because even back then though they were big to us, hip hop was still not
Yeah.
at that spot where everyone was watching. We knew
Yeah. Yeah.
who the big heads in the
Exactly.
cards were.
To us,
You
it
know,
was a big deal. To people on the street, they didn't know anything. They didn't know
no,
anybody.
and that's
Nobody.
great promo. It's great promo, and if you happen to be in the deck, it's even more fun if they find it. And then it's like they don't even know the culture, but
Yeah.
they open this deck of cards. You're in it, they're automatically gonna try to tap in to see what you're doing. You
Yeah,
know, so
definitely.
there's a lot of things back in the day, and even once in a while, it still comes up in a way. I hear, and I'm also, I wouldn't say guilty. That's the wrong word. I also had a different perspective of it, and I was like, I remember I was even kind of cheesed for a minute. Not cheesed, but I was like disappointed, and I was like, nah, man. And the pay to play thing, because but years later, to me, years later, it was like I understand actually what's happening. You're gonna what? Just get up every morning, organize a show, organize us artists who are artists, not in a disrespectful way. A lot of us are unorganized because we have an artist brain. It's There's a lot of work that because I've tried to do what you do. I gather artists online for tracks together. I
Mhm.
understand to a level, but not even to that level. It's a lot of work. It
A
takes
lot
a
of
lot of
work.
your time. Time is not free, and
Yeah.
you should be getting paid for that time, and then you should be getting financially rewarded for that
Well,
time if you continue to do it.
I'll tell you how
But yeah,
the birth of
long intro.
my pay to
Yeah.
play system came about. Back
All right.
before the pay to play, I would book artists and be like, okay, can you bring 10 people? And it doesn't even sound like a lot. Everyone said, yo, I'll bring 50 people.
Yeah.
Right? The day of the show, they'd come with their friend. And I'd be like, well, I thought you were going to bring 10 people. Oh, yeah, my cousins, dogs, brothers, girlfriends, sisters in the hospital. And
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't bring. And it was
Yeah.
just pure excuses, pure excuses. So just that actually was the start of me getting smarter. It's like, okay, am I going to keep being fooled by people, or am I going to get smarter? So my next idea was, look, you bring 10 people or cover the difference. So if you bring 5 people, cover the 5 people that you couldn't bring. And back then it was like $10. So just pay $50 and you're good, you know? And so what happened was people just wouldn't show up because they didn't want to pay the $50. So now out of 10 artists, 3 would show up and I'd be left with this big ass bill. And who cares? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? Yeah, Freddie will pay for it. And I had to deal with that for a long time until I got super smart and I didn't want to be paying these huge bills anymore. I said, look, if you want me to book you, buy 10 tickets. And that's when I got the most hate ever because, you know, the concept was, wait a minute, I'm the artist. You should be paying me. But I'm like, what am I paying you for? To bring one person? Where's this money coming from? You know what I'm saying? Like, where am I getting the money to pay you if you're not bringing anybody?
This is teamwork.
Yeah, it's like, I'll do all this work. I'll do everything I got to do. But if you're coming to the club with one person, what the heck does that do for me? Well, I'm performing. Oh, great. That does nothing for me.
Yeah.
You know? And then the bar would get pissed. Then the bar would get pissed because they're looking at me saying, oh, I thought you were going to have 10 artists. I'm like, yeah, 100%. But, and then I was like, you know what? I ain't even going to make excuses. I say, how much do you want? And I'd go pay them for the money they lost and the security they had to pay. So it was like, nah, man, I got to get smart here or else I ain't going to last. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And from when I started doing the pay-to-play thing, things started working. One, it showed me who was serious. 2, I didn't have to pay these huge bills because now everyone was pitching in. Everyone was doing their thing, you know? And my whole thing was like, look, I don't care if you bring 10 people. Just buy the tickets. Give them away. Like, do whatever you got to do, but I ain't booking you unless you give me something. You know, and people got so pissed at that. And there was like whole movements that hated on me because I was this evil promoter making artists pay. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. You don't understand the business behind it, but I do. Yeah. You know, and then when I'd explain, they still didn't want to get it because it's like, yo, this is unheard of. This is brand new. The concept is so new that people didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I do. I feel like I was, and that's the thing. I messaged you a few years later, and I was like, I don't know if you remember, I messaged you, and I was like, yo, like, this is what, it's like, yo, man, I thought that shit, but I kind of understand. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that.
No, what I remember was walking on Yonge Street, looking in McDonald's, and there you were. And I was like, yo, I'm coming in. So I came and you're like, holy shit, what up? And then that's when you told me, hey, man, you know, I understand. And I'm like, really? Really, Miz? Oh, man, that meant so much to me because I didn't like being the hated guy, you know? I just wanted to do my part.
Yeah,
I just wanted to do my part.
Yeah.
And for you to tell me that, I felt good. I felt, wow, this guy understands it. Maybe other people will get it, you know?
But also being young, you know what I mean? That's the whole thing. I think some people, you have to start looking around and understanding things. Because it's like, because when it's young, it's different. It's egos. The young artist ego is different. Artist always has an ego, but the young artist ego is different. It's more fragile. You know what I mean? And it's also more like, what do you mean, yo? What do you mean I'm performing? There's no performer without me. There's no stage without you. And that's where you got to separate that ego and actually get it. So, no, man, I salute you for all the work you've done, bro. And it's like, yeah, we've built a lot, and you've been an asset to fucking Canadian hip hop in general. Hey, yo, boom, 1 second. You want to get your music out? You want to get them out as NFTs? You want to get them distributed across all streaming platforms, traditional and non-traditional? You want to get your music out as NFTs on a platform that is social impact focused? Well, I got you. Go to soundrig.io. Link is in the description. Go tap in. Bada boom, bada bango, palm trees and mangoes. We're getting back to the show. And yo, I wanted to talk about but yo, that's good that got cleared up. I feel like you explained it in the it was well explained. You know what I mean? Well spoken. People should be able to understand that.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, man. We got to support each other. There's not only the rapper, the MC, the artist, the performer. That's why we have these two separate interviews every show. You need both sides.
Yeah.
You know, one doesn't exist without the other. You need both sides, or we're just busking on the street, or you got to wear every hat. You know, you got to wear every hat. That's kind of hard.
The evolution of this whole pay to play thing, right? Now I have it down packed. After 20 years, I figured it out, you know? I wasted a lot of time with people that, you know, hey, you want to perform? Yeah, okay. Here's the details. And then I'd have to be like, hey, are you still interested? And after 5 times, they'd be like, nah, fuck off. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. So what I did now, or what I do currently now, is I make everybody buy 1 ticket just to at least put something in. You know what I'm saying? That shows me you're serious. And then now 1 week before the show, you can upgrade. After we did all the promo, after we did everything we got to do, if your people want to support you, then upgrade your set, you know? 1 ticket will get you 1 minute.
Okay.
Believe it or not, my last show, I had an artist that did a 1 minute set and stole the whole show.
Of course.
I know it sounds crazy, 1 minute. But this man and his girl stole the whole show with 1 minute. So it's not even about, you know, time. It's about your heart, what you got. You know what I'm saying? And I saw it with my own eyes. I'm like, these guys stole the show with 1 minute? This is incredible. So now I offer 4 options. I got the 1 minute set for 1 ticket. I got the 2 minute set for 3 tickets. I got the 5 minute set for 6 tickets. And I got the 10 minute set for 12 tickets. But if you end up with a 10 minute set, I'm also going to make you a music video just as a bonus, just to show appreciation.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No one's doing that in the city. No one, because no one can. No one's going to put in that extra work.
That's a package.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Even if you end up with 1 minute, what do you get? A flyer with your name on it, right? An interview, a show, a little video that you can get of you performing. And no one's going to watch over a minute anyway.
No, you know what the fact is? It's like, yo, that's another alpha right there. You got to run with it. Whatever you get, yo, make that package look shiny and run with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. These are like moments. Your name on a flyer, yo, run with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who else is on the show? Yo, boast about who else is on the show. Boast about, like, yo, whatever you have, whatever opportunity you get, you could amplify easily.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. No,
and music videos, man.
I love making music videos. I love being creative, and music videos just gives me that outlet to really get that creativity out, you know?
Yeah. Well, film is nice, man. Film, you know, film has all aspects, the sound and everything in it.
Yeah.
Visuals.
Yeah.
Yo, I asked ChatGPT one question. All right. As I said, I forgot the question somewhere there, but it's basically asking about your music videos. It's like, as a promoter and music video director, I asked him about something about like Freddie Fame's, like name one of Freddie Fame's, research one of Freddie Fame's most renowned music videos or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The answer, as a promoter and music video director, how do you bring unique visions to the projects you work on? This is a ChatGPT question. Could you walk us through the process of creating a music video or setting up a large event? And then the reference they use is Bossman by Daniel featuring Chip.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's what they talk about. So break that down a bit. We're going to play the video.
Wow. Okay. That's an interesting story. So Daniel, he had a track with Chip Fu from the Fushnikins. And he came to me. He's like, "Yo, dude, this guy is in here. He came down for a little bit. I have 1 day with him. Can we do a green screen?" I'm like, "Yeah. What do you want to do?" He's like, "Dude, I'm gonna leave that up to you." I said,
Mm.
"Okay." So we shot it. We shot it on green screen, and I didn't have one idea. Like I didn't know what we were gonna do. And so I
Yeah.
stayed with that footage for a month. And every morning I'd wake up thinking about what I'm going to do with this video. And it got to the point where it was like eating me, you know? I had nothing. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, bang, I got it. I saw the whole vision. I saw the whole
Okay.
vision. And I called Daniel. I'm like, this is what we're going to do. You know, we're gonna have a tank rolling through the city. You know, like you're coming in like with the heavy artillery type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then Chip Fu was in the control room, and it was just I don't even know how I came up with this, but it just came to me. It came to me, and when I showed Daniel, he's like, "What the heck? This is crazy!" You know, he was in a fighter
Yeah.
jet. Chip Fu was in a blimp. Um, Daniel told me like baseball, so I put him in the Sky Dome. Like it was nuts. It was just an explosion of creativity. And I remember they aired that
Yeah.
at I think it was a show at the Rivoli, and they aired it in front
Okay.
of
Okay.
everyone. Everyone went nuts because of that one. It was like cartoon style, and it was one of the craziest things I ever did music video wise. But yeah, that's a good example, man. Because I
Yeah.
really didn't know what I was gonna do.
That's Chat GPT. That's crazy, eh? That's asked a mad dope question.
That's funny.
Um, yeah. Boom. It's all good. We'll play the music video right here.
Yeah.
Live. Mess it up.
Oh, you're gonna
All right.
play
So yo.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll put it in right after.
Okay, okay.
All
But
right.
yeah, man.
Boom.
20 years of doing this stuff, I absorbed a lot of negative energy, and I had to
Yeah.
figure out how not to be depressed because of all the negative energy. So I start working out. I start eating better. And
Mm-hmm.
now you can't put me down, you know? You can't,
Mm-hmm.
because I got way too much good energy. Today, actually, just this morning, I was talking to a girl, "Hey, you want to perform?" Uh she's like, "Okay, well this and that and that and this." And then she told me to fuck my mom, and I'm an asshole and I'm a snake and this and
Jeez.
that. And I was like, "Look, I appreciate you as an artist. You know, if you ever need to talk, I could tell you have stuff going on in your life. I'm here for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not on a business tip, but if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Like, just know your words don't hurt me. I could tell you're a hurt person, and stuff just doesn't affect me anymore. You know, I've dealt with too much negativity. I figured out how to bounce it off. You know, so
Yeah. That's
it's all
beautiful,
good.
man.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
No, that's what it's about, man. Anything in this industry in this game is surrounded with that vibe for some reason. But exactly that, man. Knowledge of self, figuring out what works for you, doing the things that make your spirit and you know what I mean, mind and body happy and healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That so I'm happy to hear that, man. And yo, let's break one thing down though, for just for people.
yeah,
It is a big deal, man. Like yo, you managed Tory Lane
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
for,
I
for
was I was his
right?
first manager.
Yeah.
I
And break that down. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd say 5 years into the game, I wanted to take a break from doing shows just for a little, just to just to figure out what direction we're going. And I get a call or a message on Facebook from Tory Lanez. He's
Mm,
like, "Hey, what's up? I heard you're a manager. Can you manage me?" And I was just like, okay, let's hear something. And as soon as I heard, I saw everything. I saw it. I
mm,
saw he was going to be a big star. I saw the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
and I told him to come meet me, and I ended up bringing him down to Atlanta and Miami, where we met up with Waka Flocka's mom. Have you ever heard of her?
Waka Flocka's mom?
Waka Flocka's mom is like mob, yo, mob.
No,
Back
no, I
then,
haven't actually.
she was tough, bro. Like, her name is Deb something,
Okay.
and she managed Waka Flocka, French Montana, OJ the Juice Man, Gucci Man, Nicki Minaj, like, and I was
Oh,
sitting
okay.
there. I was sitting there. This is a funny story, man. You're gonna laugh at this one. So I'm in Miami and I have this meeting with the lady. I didn't know her. You know, I brought an
Mm,
assistant, and when she came out, she's like, "Oh my God, do you know who that is?" I'm like, "No," and I don't care because I'm here to do business, you know.
yeah.
And so just before she came out, though, I seen some Jewish kids. They're just in the lobby of the Hilton Hotel,
All
and I
right.
said, Lanes, go give the kids your CD. He's like, "Nah, man." I'm like, "Yeah, give me this. I'll go give it to him." So I look at the kids. I'm like, "Look, see this guy in the cover? That's him." And they got so excited. But these Jewish kids, they're business minded. So they start asking, "Do you have a distribution deal?" These kids were like 7, 8.
For real.
They're
Okay.
asking
Okay.
them, "Do you have a distribution deal? Do you have a clothing line? Do you have a record deal?" I was like, "Whoa, what the heck?"
Yeah.
There's a reason they're on top, man. There's a reason.
That's actually crazy. Okay.
So they're like, "Yo, can we get an autograph?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go get a pen and come back. We'll give you an autograph." So bang, they leave. They're so happy they go leave, and bang, Waka Flocka's mom comes in, right? And she played some hardball. She wouldn't even talk. Her assistant would talk to me. And at one point, I got so annoyed. I'm like, I look at the assistant. I'm like, "Who are you? I didn't come here to
Yeah.
talk to no assistant." I looked at the moms and I was like, "Yo, I came here to talk to you. Listen, are we making a deal or do I got to take Tory Lanez to Texas? Because I'll
Yeah. Cause
leave
that's
tomorrow.
weird.
I'm here
That'd
on
be
my
weird.
own money. I'm here on my own money. I'm not from here. So if we're not doing business, I'm out." My girl
Yeah.
looks at me with some crazy face and was like, "How dare you even talk to me?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get down to business because nothing's happening and I need something to happen now. You know, I'm spending thousands of dollars here. Tell me what's up. Are we doing it or not? Because if not, I'm gone." She's like, you can go to Texas. I don't care." And the meeting was done. She was walking away. Bro, get this. The kids, those 3 kids that wanted an autograph came back with 20 kids, surrounded Tory Lanez, and they were treating him like he was the biggest star. And the lady stops. The lady stops. She's like, "What? You set that up?" I'm like, "Maybe you didn't hear me. I'm not from here."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what did I set up? Like, this is what it is. You wanted this meeting because you see the talent. And look, he's already got a little fan base, you know, like people recognize them.
Yeah, that's
Bro,
crazy. That's amazing timing.
bro,
What a
you know what she
flex.
says to me? She's like, "Okay, all right. I'm going to set up a meeting in Atlanta for you. You get to Atlanta and you go have a meeting with this one dude." I'm like, all right, cool, cool. Her whole
Yeah.
attitude changed.
It's crazy, man.
And the
Wow.
the assistant was like, her mouth was like this, her jaw dropped. Like, I've never seen that happen before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never
Yeah.
seen someone play so hard with the lady and win.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's like a crazy story still.
Yeah, but that
That's
kid had
wild, eh?
angels. That kid had angels behind him. Tory Lanez
Well,
had angels behind him. I saw a whole bunch of stuff happen for this stuff, and it wasn't just coincidence, man. He had
mm,
some angels like backing him up, man. Like, that's the only
mm,
That's the only explanation that I can really give.
Yo, what's going on, man? It's your brother Mizo. First of all, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate when you watch this live, if you take your time to watch it later on, if you're just listening while you're doing something. But I appreciate you tapping in and getting this far. I really do. The House of Rap, this movement we have, this podcast we have, is close to my heart, and we're going to keep pushing forward with it. All right, so we need your help, man. Go like and subscribe right now. Hit the notification bell. House of Rap, XYZ, everywhere. Let's get back to it. Okay.
But yeah, that was a funny story, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's dope, man. This guy's gotten on to do a lot of things. Unfortunately, what's happening right now. You know what I mean? And this world's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
This world's crazy, man. But I'll just say one thing: Tory Lanez makes good music, and no
he
matter
does.
what anyone says, it's like man's can like, and I'll be straight, yo, man. People look at hear what happened with R. Kelly, and then go put him on an album, put him on their album the next week after he goes to prison for all this shit. So at the end of the day, man, and his albums are selling. It's like, yo, Tory Lanez makes good music, man. And
yeah, I was recently in his documentary. Someone made a documentary. It was on HBO or something like that.
Okay.
And they came down. It was a documentary about where he came from, and it was telling both sides of the story. So Tory Lanez side and the people around him, and Megan Thee Stallion and her come up. So I was included in that. They wanted to hear the story, my accounts of the whole Tory Lanez story. I ended up getting on this HBO thing, and bro, people were calling me from all over, talking about, can you manage me?
Oh, for real? Oh,
Bro,
shit.
I was just like, yeah, come to Toronto, come do a show. I was like trying to deflect the energy into what I was doing,
100%.
So yeah, a lot of people came from the States because they saw that documentary with me in it.
And they wanted to build. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just got to run with it, man. That's what we're talking about that earlier too. Everything can become a good fucking opportunity for yourself in a good way, Yeah. But yo, man, I don't know, brother. I feel like there's probably a lot more we could talk about in your life and everything you're doing. But right now, if there's any like things you want people to know,
there was a point in my career where I had the ultimate setback. I told you about my girl at the time who was doing the photos, the graphics, the videos. She even did websites. Like one day I told her, you can't do my job. She's like, hold my drink. She started booking acts. I'm like, oh wow. Like I turned her into like some crazy monster, but she left after 10 years. And at that point, I didn't take one picture. I didn't do one graphic. I didn't make one video. She was actually the muscle behind Freddie Fame. And when she left, I was done. I became a mover for like exactly 3 days. I called up a moving spot. I went in to the interview. They're like, oh, in your application, there's no address. There's no this. There's no that. I'm like, look, you want a mover? I'll be a mover. And the energy I gave him, he's like, yo, I believe you, man. I said, you give me a shot and I'll do right. He's like, you want a 12-hour shift tomorrow? I said, let's do it. Bro, I didn't even know what the heck I was getting myself into. The first day I was like, nah, man, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
So at the time I was like asking the universe, save me from this. Like, I can't go out like this. Freddie Fame worked too hard to just become a mover. No disrespect to movers, of course, but I'm just not that. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. Yeah.
So I had to learn everything. Photography, graphics, music videos, all one shot. But because I was so determined to have my life back, I learned it all. I learned it all. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of my biggest accomplishments was to get my life back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like if all that didn't happen, I wouldn't have wanted it that bad. You know what I'm saying?
True. True. And now you
So
have the tools too, just to have the moment when you get the tools yourself, completely self-sustainable. It's
yeah,
like, yo, and true. Sometimes that fall brings the hunger back. True artists, man, like even the way you're maneuvering your business, bro, it's still like an art. Like there's an art form to sneak in to a strip club with hip hop music.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
like sleight of hand. This is like a different type of magic. This is art. And it's like there's businesses that do things only one way.
Yeah.
Then there's like entrepreneurs. Like these are different things to me. You know what I mean?
We just find a way. We
We
find a way
find a
to make it
way.
work.
And we'll always come back to making
Yeah,
something work and it'll connect. Like me, I'm out here now, I'm always gonna make music.
yeah.
Always. That's just why I love it. I love making music. It might not sound the same all the time, but I'm gonna make it because I love it. And but I'm getting into stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? I'm
I
gonna stay in
saw
the
that
arts.
actually. I
I'm
saw
working
something.
on
Yeah, yeah,
writing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, writing some comedy. I got some like commercials coming out like in Vancouver with some chicken company and shit. But like that's what I'm saying. We just keep it going and use everything we have because my music's still involved in it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's always going to be connected. But yo, bro, I appreciate you, man, and thank you for the interview. All your we'll play some more videos and we'll leave your links in all the
Yo,
sections.
respect,
And what
man.
is
Thank you.
yeah?
Thank you for giving me a voice today so I could just tell those because no one knows this stuff. A lot of
Oh,
people
dope.
just think I'm some evil dude who just exploits artists and I'm not, all I do is book a club and nah, man, this stuff is hard work. And that's why I've lasted 20 years because I've adapted. I've
Mm-hmm.
adapted. I figured out how to do stuff, and not
Mm-hmm.
what other promoter lasted this long. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
I'm the biggest, but I am the most consistent. When it comes to
100%.
consistency, no one touches me. Nobody. And that I can
You
confidently
yeah.
say. And not
Yeah.
not in a bragging type tip as one of
No,
my
man.
accomplishments. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
People
We're
have their
allowed to be proud of
trophies
our
for whatever they
accomplishments.
do.
Yeah.
That's my trophy is that I can confidently say I am the most consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I think me and other people that have been there, witnessing it all for all these years, would say the same thing, man. Like that is your trophy. You know what I mean?
That's my
Like for sure,
trophy right there, man.
100%.
And no one
And
gave it to me.
incubating.
No one gave
I'm
me
giving
that
it to you
trophy.
right now, bro.
Thank you,
Some dude
brother.
that,
Thank you.
some dude that's like, yo, I'm just me. I live my life, man. Highs and lows, lots of lows, lows, lots of highs right now. And it's like different understandings, different moments of my mental health breaking down, not realizing it. I'm diagnosed bipolar. You know what I mean? So it's like so many different things that I understand now. I didn't understand then. But it's like to see all of that and like actually to be that guy who's like, yo, big love Freddie Fame, and then have that moment like pay to play, yo, man, that's colonial, yo, that's some colonial shit to be the artist, da da da, to going to like, oh shit, I actually get it. It's not. You know what I mean? It's like boom, get off my high horse, let my feet touch the ground and actually be here. It's like, yo, you get all those trophies, bro. Fucking as an artist incubation too. Like you're
Thank you,
still
brother.
doing it for
Thank
young artists, and it's an important way to get artists to get off the ground. You're giving them the little tools. How they run with it is up to them.
you.
But
Yeah.
you're giving them
Yeah.
the tools. You
I'll
know?
tell you, a lot of artists don't last with me because, um, I'll give you a scenario, man. Your friend, an artist friend, they'll make fun
Mm,
of you. Oh, you got to pay to play. Oh, that's whack. And
yeah,
as
yeah.
excited you are to like build and do this stuff, you kind of want to impress your friends. You want to show them, hey, look, I'm doing this show. But as
You
soon
want
as
them to
they're
get
not
hype.
impressed and they put you
Mm,
down once, that's it. You're done. Now you don't want to pay to play. You know what I'm saying? And then that's where a lot of artists fall short and they're done. And I've seen over 20 years, So many artists come and go because they let their people influence the way they think. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking I'm gonna look cool to my friends, but then one little thing, and that's it. They don't want to play. Okay, so now they gotta go find free shows with unexperienced promoters that are going to do the shittiest job for them. And then
And it
they
won't
get
help
so
them
annoyed.
tomorrow. Yeah.
They get so annoyed. They don't want to do it anymore because yeah, you're working with people that don't really do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%, man.
So I've
Nah,
seen it
people,
all.
yeah.
I've seen it all, man.
And that
I've seen
scenario
it
right
all.
there is so real. That's like one of the, as a
Yeah.
MC, it's such a real scenario. It's
Mhm.
like, but you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, I'll say like, that's why the older I get, the better it is. And like, I like to do shit all by my, when it comes to creating the art and putting stuff out, I like to tell no one and just create it myself,
Yeah.
down to the mixing and mastering. It might
That's
not
dope.
be
That's
the
dope.
best yet, but it's
But
getting
you did
better
it.
and better. And I
Yeah,
did it,
yeah.
and it, and it gets better and better every time. And I make sure it's not shitty. I make sure there's some standards to it. But I know I'm not at the best at mixing and mastering yet. I'm
Yeah.
not the best at making beats. But it's like you're saying, you had to learn all the tools as an artist. Getting someone helping with the start of these tools, now you have it, and then you could make your own. That's the whole way, man. It's like be self-sustainable, man.
That's
And
it.
but yeah, man. But big love, brother.
Yo,
Big love,
thank you.
bro.
Thank you. Thank you for being there from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Like it
no
was
doubt, man.
people that believed in me, like you from the beginning, that gave me the push, the motivation to keep going. 20 years later, I'm still here, you're still here,
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm glad we can connect still 20 years later, man.
Have to, man. Especially when I'm gonna do this about covering some history. It's a must. Speaking of that, I'm gonna get at Mike Stone too, because that brother
Yeah.
has history in the crates. He has
Yeah.
crates of history. This
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
one of the most
No,
active DJs of
yeah.
my era. One of the most active. Like I used to go out almost every night, and he'd be DJing somewhere almost every night.
I'll tell you, I told you the story how I had to learn everything.
Yeah.
Mike Stone was the guy who showed me. So I owe a
He's
lot
always
to
been a
Mike
good brother.
Stone.
Yeah,
I
man.
owe I
Mike
owe a
Stone.
lot to Mike Stone. You know, his guidance and like just his belief in me helped me out through this whole thing, you know?
Mhm.
So big shout out to Mike Stone, man. Honestly,
Always.
I don't think there would have been a Freddie Fame without a Mike Stone.
Man, there would have been a hole in the story of 90s hip hop, in the heart of 90s hip hop in Canada, 90s, late 90s, early 2000.
Yeah.
If people don't speak about Mike Stone or Freddie. So, salute, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. One love, bro.
Respect.